Hey guys. So yesterday we talked about reaching a pretty vital level of support for AMC, which was right around that 440 range. And we were calling for a very bullish short term bounce off of that 440. Every single time it's hit this range since this big pop in May, we've climbed up, sometimes immediately, sometimes over a few days. And that looks to be what we're doing here. This nice bottom wick. I think we had a 3% day or so, maybe a tad over 3. And what I'd be looking for tomorrow, kind of a follow through here. Um, it's interesting on AMC because if you look at the weekly, uh, we do have a weekly gap right here. So if we are able to have momentum tomorrow, maybe we get a little bit more volume than today. I could see us very easily pushing up to this 460 range, which has acted as a really nice level of support for us since May. There. Acted as very good support since May. And what I think is going to happen here is I think you're going to slowly creep up to this line, get a rejection. You might print a few candles under here, 10-minute candles under here. Maybe some touching, maybe some not. Maybe you'll get 3 rejections. And then on the fourth one, I think you should see some good movement upward, and then maybe get that weekly gap fill and close around uh, 480, I believe. 480, something like that. And the interesting thing about this 440 range and this 460 range is that every single time you come down here, you don't spend more than 2 days in this area. And so, we've had 2 days below 460, and the moves upward have been really nice. Sometimes just violent upward, like you'll see here. You just have this really violent day, and then obviously you get this pull back down, but then you move up, up, up. And something that I think is the most important note of all of this is that every single time you have touched this range, this let's call it sub 440, or even you could call it sub 460. Every single time we've touched that range, we have in the short term at least tested $5. So over here we came down to 431 at the low there. And then I mean 2 days after we were testing $5, nearly the second day. And then here at the very bottom of this wick you test, it looks like 410. And then the very next day you test $5 again. And yeah, it's just every single time you come down here. Like over here, you spend some days below 460. You hit 430 here. But once you come down past this 440, you test this 440 range. You have this really nice, healthy climb back up. You're testing $5 again. Down here, you have this wick that comes down all the way to 454. So sub 460. And then the very next day, you're testing $5 again. This time you had a drop all the way down to here, and they got sucked back up the same day. It was a 15% shift either way. And you had a test, obviously, of $5+ over here. Um, over here, you nearly touch 460. Not quite. I mean, let's call it a penny away. And then, you know, 2 days later, you're testing $5 again. And then over here, you have this candle close below 460, and then a candle close right at what was it, 438? So below 460, below 440, and then you have this nice 3% green day. And then I can't help but feel like in the short term you're going to be testing that $5 range. You have that weekly gap fill. You have your bottom in. It could honestly, if I was being as completely bullish as possible tomorrow, you could test $5 tomorrow. I know that's a 46% or not a percent, a 46-cent jump, but it's entirely possible. If not, maybe you just have a couple healthy, 2-3% days and you climb back up to that $5 again. But I don't think $5 is out of the realm of possibility within the next, you know, five days. I think max. I think you could see $5. It's just that's just what this tells me. You have all of this stability here. You have multiple examples of coming below this 460, 440 range and almost immediately testing $5 within the next day, within the next 2-3 days. So if history repeats itself, I think we see another test of that $5 range very soon, which is exciting. So what I got today. Yeah.